It's Fitzy's FANalyst Fun Spot. Hello again, YouTube fantasy freaks. Fitzy here at the Fun Spot, and I'm as excited to get this season started as the rest of the world is to get the Brett Favre saga put to friggin' bed. This is Five Center. You see, us footballaholics, we just can't get enough. And while it's definitely the train improv gridiron action, the preseason is underway. And I, for one, am pretty psyched. I like training camp so much, I'm even watching HBO's Hard Knocks. And I hate the Cowboys almost as much as your mom hates when I leave in the middle of the night. For a fantasy nut, training camp is your first official opportunity to see how the NFL, and specifically your team, which may or may not have been 35 seconds away from going 19-0, only to watch all their dreams crumble in Arizona in February, is taking shape. Good to see your super wounds are healing there, Fitz. Oh, jeez. Anywho, all this nonsense brings me to our first ever fantasy-oriented, I imagine one of you bums out there would have asked it anyway, question of the week. Burp. And it reads, Dear Fitzy, you know, for effect. Tom Brady was the #1 player in fantasy football by far last year, and for some reason people are telling me not to take him with the #1 overall pick. WTF? Sincerely, not Fitzy. Well, NF, the man God known to me as TFB had the most amazing season on record for an NFL QB last season. And even though his team fell just short of perfection, TFB's super duper 2007 season has everyone wondering how could he possibly repeat it. By growing a third arm to help ward off defenders while shooting cornerbacks and safeties with robot lasers from his eyes? Simply put, he can't. Plus, everyone under the sun is going to copy the Giants' Super Bowl game plan and blitz like 220 guys on every play, because we all know now that the Pats' O-line is kind of ailing, and if you can get to or pressure TFB, then he's PFD, pretty friggin' doomed. Therefore, it's become super sexy to think that Brady's going to have an average to subpar season and go in the more traditional running back first route, you know, with like an LT or an AP, is the smartest #1 overall pick. How freaking ever! Even if the whole world game plans for the TFB, Mossman, and White West Welker variety show, and Brady suffers a 30% drop-off from last season, which is huge, that's still a 35 touchdown guarantee. And while you can get 20 TD value from a quarterback in the later rounds, and good running backs are still as hard to find as a Brett Favre free sports channel on the television box, where I come from, 35 touchdowns are still 35 touchdowns. I'm not a smart man, but I do know what fantasy is, Jenny. So to me, even an average TFB is just too tough to pass up with fantasy selection numero uno. See? I told you I bleed Boston, but I know my fantasy, right? Okay, YouTubers, draft advice and fantasy sleepers galore are on the way. Till next time, this is Paul Fitzy Fitzgerald of TownieNews.com reminding you that when it comes to fantasy, I'm your guy, and everyone else can GFY.